So today, as part of our Bright Side mini series, we're going to be showing you guys at home how to do a health check on your bunny. So we've got Shannon, who is holding the lovely Basil here, who happens to be one of our receptionist bunnies, and Ellie's doing the filming as well, and obviously I'm Kelly, I'm one of the vets at Bright Side. And Basil is a big bunny, and he's also quite tricky to handle, so we thought he would be quite a good example of how to handle gently if you've got some quite tricky bunnies at home. So quite simply, the first thing you may want to do is just check that the bunny's eyes look nice and clear, so there shouldn't be any squinting or any discharge coming from the eyes at all. A very common condition we see with bunnies with teeth disease can sometimes relate to the eyes, so making sure that the face looks nice and symmetrical, there's no obvious swellings around the eyes or any discharge. It helps if you put the bunny on a surface, because then you've got a little bit more control, and it does help if there's two of you. As you can see, Shannon's doing an excellent job of just tucking sort of under her arm there and just keeping the bunny from sort of doing that classic thing that bunnies like to do, which is fight and flight. The next thing, when we examine bunnies, we always like to look at the back of the teeth, and you'll see us sometimes in a consult room using an otoscope to do that. Obviously we're not expecting you to do that, but you can tell a little bit from what's going on by having a look at the very front teeth, which are called the incisor teeth. Now we know that this bunny doesn't like having this done, so we're going to try and show you a very gentle way of doing this. And what you're looking for is making sure that the teeth are coming into opposition and occluding together symmetrically, so they shouldn't be growing in opposite directions and causing sort of sharp cuts and things in the lips. So I'm going to get Shannon just to press down a little bit and secure the front limbs there, and then what we're going to try and gently do is just lift the lips up just a little bit and lower the bottom lip just as gently as that, and we can just see that the teeth are occluding well, there's no sharp bits or any cuts or anything, and that's all we need to do to cause minimum stress. The other thing that can be really handy is to make sure that your bunny is nice and clean underneath, because obviously if we've got a mucky bottom, that can be a sign of problems. If they're wet underneath, that can be a sign of a urinary infection, and it also, this time of year, can indicate problems with fly strike. So again, because this is a bun that doesn't like to be handled particularly, we're going to do this nice and gently, keeping on a flat surface, and I'm just going to get Shannon to gently lift up the front legs. We just keep a little bit of pressure around the head there, and then all we need to do is just have a look underneath and make sure that this area doesn't look really wet or soggy. That way you're not having to scoop the bunny up and turn them upside down, which we know they don't like, and it can be more challenging in these bigger bunnies. So we're just making sure everything's nice and clean. This gives us an opportunity to look at the nails as well and make sure everything's as it should be. Another way of examining this area, so if we just lower him gently down, if we spin him round, oh, you are good, Basil. Okay, and the other way that we can examine this area, and he wants to give Shannon a bite there, is to again just lift up the bobtail and have a look at this end, and that way you're not having to overly handle, so we can just see if we're going to get any wetness or fly strike. All of this area can be very wet and soggy and matted. You should ideally be checking your bunny in this area twice a day, particularly as the weather gets warmer. The other thing you can do at home as well, the last couple of bits, is that if we're worrying about any parasites on the bunny, so we know that they quite commonly get mites, you can sometimes see a dandruff in the coat. So if you just gently part the hair, we should be seeing that there is no dandruff or flakes of skin. So this all looks quite nice and clean and tidy. And the other thing that we may sometimes ask you to do is keep an eye on your bunny's weight. So we've obviously got these scales here, but you may be able to have some, if you've got smaller bunnies, obviously kitchen scales at home. So always make sure that they're set to 0 to start with. We tend to weigh animals in kilos, so just making sure again that we try and hold them gently on but without too much restraint, and then we're looking at that value there. So that now says about 4.6, so that might be the information that we ask from you at home. So that completes our little mini bunny health check.